Hello dear people. As we have seen, the October ban list was really boring. It didn't hit the best decks and they didn't bring any card back. That is disappointing. This time I will be ranking all the banned cards. Are they still good, can they come back or not? So let's get to the rankings. This will be fun. First card is Ancient Fairy Dragon. It is going to category cannot come back. This card is too broken. It offers too much for one card. It was used for so many FTK decks so it cannot come back. Gofu also cannot come back. It makes Needle Fiber without your normal summon and makes tokens for more link plays. Steam also can't come back because of Needle Fiber. It summons a token when sent to grave and contribute a monster from the field to summon itself to summon another token. It gives too much link spam potential. Astrograph would be fine at 1. Even with Electromite. Astra was broken at 3 because you can open it consistently and loop it many times without using Electromite. Blaster is strong but it can come back. While I'm at it, I will put all the remaining Dragon Rulers. All of them can come back. Only thing Dragon Rulers would do is to boost the decks of their respective attributes and that would be it. Block Dragon cannot come back. He is literally a Dragon Ruler but it also makes you go +3. He is too broken with Adamanticipators because Block Dragon can add all 3 of them. Brilliant Fusion is strong but can come back. It does give you another normal summon but you need to play a brick for it. Elma can come back but with Errata. Just make it once per turn. Card of Safe Return can also come back but with Errata. Change its text to once per turn and it will not kill the card but still make it viable. Change of Heart would be fine at 1. It's literally another copy of Mind Control. Being able to tribute it does not really make a difference because you would be using it for link summoning. Chicken Game would also be fine at 1. It's just a draw 1 and it's weird that this card didn't come of the list entirely. Cold Wave cannot come back. Being able to just activate this card at the start of main phase to attack for game or lock your opponent from using spells and traps is really dumb. Confiscation cannot come back because of hand knowledge and it's too free. For just 1000 life point you get to see your opponent's hand and send one of their cards to the grave. Also Delinquent Duo and Forceful Sentry are in the same category that can't come back because hand knowledge is too broken. Cyberjor is strong but it can come back. Its effect to blow up all monsters on the field and excavate 5 is broken but it's not viable because Cyberjor is a flip monster. That is too slow for modern game. Dandelion, even though it's one of Jaden's fan favorite cards, it just cannot come back. Its effect to summon 2 tokens is not once per turn and it would be too abusable. Denglong would be fine at 1. Even back in 2017 when Dinosaurs was the best deck and won Worlds, Denglong was just a good consistency card and never needed to be banned. Distrudo goes to category why is it even here? I get that it was banned because of Needle Fiber but you are paying half your life points for it. I feel Distrudo does not deserve to be on the list at all. Dimension Fusion is the first card that goes to the category best card and will never come back. This card is absurd. For just 2000 life points you get to summon all banished monsters. Dim Fusion will never come back. Jin cannot come back. It gives all ritual decks, especially Necros, a way to lock your opponent from special summoning which is really broken. Eclipse Wyvern goes to category why is it even here? Wyvern was always a good card but never ban worthy. With LP gone, this card doesn't need to be on the list. Northern cannot come back. Its effect to reborn a level 4 or lower monster is not once per turn and it can be summoned of instant fusion. It offers too much for one card. Fairy Tail Snow is strong but it can come back. Snow never needed to be banned. Banishing 7 cards is pretty high cost. I know it was banned it abused Thunder Dragon monsters but that is not viable anymore. Fiber Jar cannot come back. Just like Cyber Jar, this card is also a flip monster. But this literally resets the whole duel. This with current time procedures cannot come back. Fishborg Blaster can come back with Errata. Just put a hard once per turn and the card is fixed. Giant Runade cannot come back. This card doesn't destroy but returns all spells and traps. You can bounce your own cards as well and use them again. Glow Up Bulb cannot come back. It was banned. Bulb is a 1-card link 4 because of Needle Fiber. As long as Needle Fiber is legal, Bulb will never come back. Graceful Charity goes to the category of best card ever and it will never come back. You go neutral in card advantage, but Charity makes you discard 2, which a lot of modern decks would abuse that because there are a lot. Grinder Golem cannot come back. This card is absurd but it's also really old and was never designed for link summoning. Igor Pain cannot come back. It can summon literally any dragon from the extra deck for free. It was used for many FTK decks so this card cannot come back. I see there is no LP. Heavy Storm is strong but can come back. We have 3 Lightning Storm, 1 Feather Duster, 3 Twin Twister. That theory of popping your own card is stupid. Heavy Storm would do nothing if it came back. Heavy Metal Foes Electromite would be fine at 1. Electromite even with 1 Astrograph they would still be completely fine because pendulums are not that great at the moment. Electromite is just a good consistency boost that pendulum decks desperately need. World Chalice Ib cannot come back. It's a generic level 5 synchro monster that adds any word legacy card and also when it's sent to grave it summon a World Chalice from the deck. And it's also a tuner for Needle Fiber. Jet Synchron cannot come back. It's also banned because of Needle Fiber. As long as Needle Fiber is in the game Jet cannot come back. Just like Glow Up Bulb, Jet Synchron is a 1-card link 4 and that is too broken. Kaiser Colossal is a card that cannot come back primarily because of how many rulings it has. It's like Mystic Mine but worse. Nightmare Mermaid also cannot come back. Mermaid was used for the infamous combo that is called 2 monster equal or cust combo. This card was absolutely splashed in every deck when it was legal just like Vert Anaconda is in 2021. Goblin also goes to category it cannot come back. It's a generic link 2 that gives you an additional normal summon. At least with Seraphonite you needed to play a Garnet to summon while Goblin can summon with only 2 monsters. Last Turn cannot come back too. This card is a ruling nightmare. Just how many rulings there are for this card is absolutely absurd. Last Will goes to category of best card ever. This card is insane. Especially now with modern decks and with link summoning, this card would break the game. La Valval Chain, even though it's one of my favorite cards, it cannot come back. It's generic and primarily the first effect is why it got banned. You can send any card and it's not once per turn. That is a really broken effect. Level Eater can come back but with Errata. Level Eater wasn't designed for link summoning. So just change its effect to either hard once per turn or it cannot be used as link material. Either of those effects would fix the card. Link Cross cannot come back. This card was absolutely absurd with Needle Fiber. You summon a token from Needle Fiber and then make it 2 tokens from Link Cross to synchro with them. Luna Light Tiger would be fine at 1. Luna Lights were such a fun deck. It was strong because of Azat Off to lock all monster effects for the rest of the turn which is broken. With Azat Off banned, Tiger is fine to come back to 1. Magical Scientist goes to category the best card ever. This card is absolutely broken. It summons a fusion for just 1000 life points. It can be used for so many plays it's insane. This card will never come back. Kirin is strong but it can come back. It cannot be destroyed or targeted by card effects and it has 2000 attack. But it's not great anymore compared to modern decks which put a lot of negates and bounces. Mass Driver cannot come back. This card shouldn't have even been made, to be honest. This card is primarily used for FTK decks. It could be Errata to once per turn, but that would kill the card. Masterpiece is the best boss monster ever in my opinion. This card will never come back. This card is unfair. It requires 2 tributes to be summoned. It is unaffected of the cards it was used for its tribute. It was also searchable from Dragonic Diagram. Max C is strong but it can come back. It's a very controversial card, but Max C is needed to slow down the game. O-Lion cannot come back. It's an important combo piece for Auroradon and Needle Fiber. It makes Borreload Savage Dragon and Herald of Needle Fiber alone. Because of these 2 cards it cannot come back. Metamorphosis goes to category best card ever and it will never come back. It can tribute any monster and summon any fusion monster of that level. Because of some powerful fusion monsters that could be summoned, this card cannot come back. Mindmaster could come back, but with Errata. It was banned because of some old FTK. If it gets changed to hard once per turn, then this card would be absolutely fine to come back. Mirage of Nightmare cannot come back. It does nothing on your turn, but on opponent's turn you draw until you have 4 cards in hand. That is broken because after you do your combo on your turn and empty your hand, you just draw 4 cards and possibly some hand traps. It's too broken. MX Saber Invoker also cannot come back. It's generic and it can summon any Earth Warrior from deck and then make a solo with it. It also summon Archer for FTK decks. Tomahawk also cannot come back. Being able to summon 5 tokens is absolutely insane where we have link monsters. Rongo also cannot come back. It's a towers with 3000 attack and it's also a floodgate where your opponent cannot summon any monster. Shockmaster goes to category that it cannot come back. It requires 3 level 4 monsters to make, but it has a broken effect where you can lock your opponent from using monsters, spells or traps, which is unfair. Just like the previous 2 floodgate monsters, Zexal also cannot come back. Zexal basically skips your opponent's turn, which is unfair. Orcust Harp Horror would be fine at 1. Compared to all these broken cards, it's laughable to see Harp still on the list. It's a good card, don't get me wrong, but it was never ban worthy. Azat Off is another floodgate and cannot come back. You could summon it on your turn to protect yourself from hand traps and mail your unbreakable board, or summon it on opponent's turn with rank up spells to lock them from monster effects. Either way, this card should never come back. Painful Choice is arguably the best card ever made. Being able to show your opponent 5 cards and they give you one of them is absurd. Not to mention how many cards nowadays would like to be sent to the graveyard. This card will never come back. Plush Fire is strong, but it can come back. Its effect to summon a Performage monster is not once per turn, but what are you going to summon? Except Juggler, which is not a pendulum monster. Every Performage would be a brick. Monkey Board is also fine at 1. A 1 card scale is not that great since Darkworm does the same thing and it has more utility. I know it can add Joker, which searches Sorcerer to pop to add another performable, but Pendulum should get some of its power back. Cluster Amaryllis can come back, but with an Errata. I will also put some Sorreloads too because they were used for the same purpose, the plant FTK. By putting once per turn claws they can come back. This would kill the card. They could still be used in plans for Masquerina or Topological Bomber plays to blow all monsters. Pot of Greed is one of the best cards ever and will never come back. It gives you a +1 with no restrictions. If Pot of Greed was legal, everybody would play it, even Infernity. Premature Burial goes to category very strong and it cannot come back. It's an equip card, so it can be abused, especially with Infernoble Knights. It can also be bounced with Zephyros and many other cards. Return from the different dimension is the best card and it will never ever come back. Despite being a trap card, it's just too broken. By paying half-life points it can bring back all monsters that are banished. Royal Oppression also goes to category best card ever and it will never come back. It's such a broken flawed gate. For only 800 life points you get to negate a summon of a monster like whoever thought this card was okay to be released in the game. Self-destruct button honestly should go to category that it will never come, but I will put it in category that is a very strong card. This card serves no purpose. It was made to make unnecessary draws and to prolong the game more. Sixth Sense is never gonna come back. It's a trap, but it has the effect to roll a die, and if you get the number you chose, you get to draw that many cards, but if miss you mill that many cards. That is absurd because there is downside to both of the effects. Smoke Grenade of the Thief is a very strong and it cannot come back. This card is actually so old and was never really used until Infernoble got introduced. Then this card became absolutely broken. Just like previous hand loop cards, this card cannot come because of hand knowledge. Snatch Steal also cannot come back. It was actually brought back in Necron's format and banned again the next ban list. Especially now with Infernoble as an equip, this card cannot come back. Soul Charge is an insane and will never come back. Paying 1000 life points for every monster you reborn and giving up your battle is nothing compared to the fact that when your opponent interrupts you in your combo, activate this card and continue the combo. That is not fair.
Spellbook of Judgement can come back. Spellbooks are powercraft and Judgement wouldn't change that at all. It adds spellbook spells and special summons a spellcaster at the end phase. That is too slow.
Spyro Masterplan cannot come back. She by herself is like +6, which is insane. This card was the problem card of the deck. Tolmaeus is strong, but it can come back. Making Infinity is really not good anymore. It requires 3 level 4 monsters for it to use its effect. You also have to dedicate that one least extra deck spot for it, which is not good. Substitute could come back, but with Errata. If once per turn is added to the card you wouldn't kill the card. It would still be viable in Paleozoic frogs to make Swap Frog easier to access. Sumimon Sorceress is the best Link monster ever created after Firewall received that Errata. It is generic and it could summon any monster from the deck. This card would just get stronger and stronger as more cards get released. Supreme King Starving Venom would be absolutely fine at 1. It never needed a ban. It was banned because of the FTK, but at 1 it would be okay because you need to for the FTK. On the other hand, Tempest Magician cannot come back. It's meant for the FTK and with Selene it will never come back. With all Emdemy in that place too many spell counters, this card cannot come back. That Grass Looks Greener is definitely a strong card, but it could come back. It's a powerful card but also a very fun one too. Milling 20 was so much fun and those 60 card decks were so innovative. I think at 1 it would be okay because you won't draw it consistently. Tyrant Neptune is also okay to come back to the game. It was banned because it could copy Lurlisk Nightingale effect to burn for 5000 damage and be unaffected. This wasn't even an FTK. This shouldn't have been banned. Thunder Dragon Colossus would be okay at 1. It's technically a Link 1 but not really because you need to activate a Thunder effect in hand to summon it. 1 Colossus is easy to out, but the real problem was when you would deal with 2 or 3 Colossus. Time Seal goes to category. Why is this card even here? It's a trap and its effect will be applied on the 4th turn after you set it on your 1st turn. This card is so slow and it's shocking that it didn't come back already. Gumler cannot come back and will never come back hopefully. who thought a generic Link 4 that could discard 2 or even 4 cards from opponent's hand was okay for the game. This card is insane. Trap Just Shoot is a very strong card, but I do still think it could come back. It's a trap, and the only time this card is good is when you're going first. Going second or past turn 3, this card becomes useless because there won't be 4 cards in opponent's hand most of the time. True King of all Calamities is one of my most hated cards. This card cannot come back. It shuts your opponent from using monster effects. It was such a broken, especially in Virtual World where they could make 2 very consistently. Ultimate Offering. Even though it's a trap, it still cannot come back. This card being able to give additional normal summons for just 500 life points is absolutely broken. Union Carrier can come back, but with Errata. The reason why it got banned is because it is generic and it can equip any monster. But if you change its text that it can only equip Union monsters, you solve the problem. Vanity Septinus is very strong and cannot come back. This card makes that both players cannot special summon. It's a very strong flawed gate. Victory Dragon is going to category the best card ever, and it will never come back. How did Victory Dragon get in the game while all the match winner cards are not allowed to be played? This card honestly should be deleted from the game. Zenmaity is a strong card, but it would be fine at 1. I think it's a good card, but not to stay banned anymore. As a precaution, Hunter could be banned for Zenmaity to come back. Yet Agatha Ghost category. Why is this card even here? This card is the longest banned card ever. I think it's 17 years now. But this card is not good anymore. This card requires your normal summon and it has to deal battle damage. That is too slow and would never be viable. Broad Bull cannot come back. It's a generic Ziz monster that can add any beast warrior. This card with Tri-Brigades would be insane, so it cannot come back. That is all the cards. I hope you like my ranking. This took so much time, but if you like it, it's worth it then. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Have a good day and goodbye.